Hello and welcome back to the Seleucid campaign. Yes, I am the heir of Carthage, and we are actually the heir of Carthage now because Hannibal has retaken Carthage in the name of his new masters in Alexandrian glory, but obviously very representative of the fact that he probably should have been running the show in Carthage previously. There is still the 2nd Legion standing outside and nearby, though the 2nd Legion is severely lacking in heavy infantry and may find itself in a bit of a nasty fight here because Hannibal now has his movement points and we can assault them despite the fact that they are fortified, and we should be quite successful in that assault. I'm following close behind the Romans out here in the desert towards Grama because the Romans have made some sudden expansionary moves, which is against the Nasamones and Gaiatuli, I believe, are the factions that are out here. I don't know if the Gaiatuli were still alive, though. They may not be. But in any case, we have taken care of that. Meanwhile, off in the east, Colchis was completely subdued, or near completely subdued. I believe this will be the final subduing of Colchis here. It wasn't even guarded. There was literally nothing there. We just walked right in. And if Colchis is still alive as a faction, they certainly don't have any settlements. It looks like this is why they're still alive right here. They've got a fleet. That fleet may come and attack Trapezos, actually, or Phasis. And if so, we'll use this army to take it back on our behalf. I don't really want to march backwards to these places, but that's likely going to happen, that this fleet will come and do a landing at these different sites. Both of them have a garrison. It's not a good garrison, but it's possible that we could win depending on what comes in that Colchian fleet. I'm going to get the Heralds of Thanos marching back towards Antiochus so I can refit their army. I'm going to do the same thing here with the Defenders of Olympus. We had them on the way to Tarsus, so we're going to bring them back and get ready to move them over towards Hellas and get them ready to support as we now have a pretty wide open war going on. And speaking of fun stuff here, there was a bunch of good comments on the last episode. I'm going to try and read some of these here. I do appreciate you all continuing to comment and support this. I've never seen a series receive such support this far into, and I would just continue to ask you that, hey, when you're done watching this, if you think I've earned a like, click that like button. If you don't think I have, click the dislike button. Get down in the comments, leave a comment, any comment. And I don't really know what other kind of themed stuff to ask you to participate in here. We've gone through a whole bunch of different themes. Last time we talked about what type of units we thought I might run into in Italy, or at least what we maybe hoped I would run into. And I guess that one thing that might be fun to entertain here, if you all just want to have a conversation in the chat, is I've told you that I will keep a historical campaign going at all times, at least one. That way there's balance with what's going on with Warhammer and Troy and the other games that are a little more fantasy-based. So I have mentioned that. What would you all like to see in the future? Start putting ideas down there, and especially if there's creative ones like scenarios or certain mods or other stuff like that. I know there's one person who keeps commenting about how many days it's been since he's told me to use the 1212 mod on Attila. So I've seen the comment. I have seen it. I'm aware of the 1212 mod. I can't guarantee whether I'll ever play it because I don't know. Like, I'm just not in the future, right? I'm not saying I won't play it or don't want to play it. But yeah, leave your comments. Tell me what you want to see me be playing in a future campaign, and I will read a few of the comments here. Though I am going to go ahead and fight this battle with Hannibal's revenge against... Wow, the Romans were fortified, and I know why they ran off, which is they're overmatched. But when they did that, they totally lost their fortified stance. It will probably cease my navy from being able to reinforce. But again, they lose their fortified stance. They do have a Roman ballista. And if we look at the infantry, they've got 6 heavy infantry. Well, probably 7 if you count the extraordinary. And then 1 light infantry here and another here. So they don't have a particular load of heavy infantry, which honestly would be best for the Romans. Their heavy infantry might be able to overwhelm me in appropriate numbers. Let's go ahead and start loading into this one. I'm going to read a couple of comments here from folks. On the top of the list here was one from Logan Schaefer who says, I don't know what I'm loving more, the campaign or the fact that YouTube actually keeps showing the videos in my feed. Well, there are a couple of ways you can try to get YouTube to show the videos in your feed, and Logan, I'm glad they're there. Obviously, just because you subscribe and click the bell, that should get you notifications, and many times will, but I have a second email account, and I am subscribed to myself, just out of curiosity's sake, and about 50-50 that I get notifications. So that is definitely one way to do it. The other way to do it is obviously just check back on the channel, but Logan has mentioned that he's been getting the notifications. That is likely due to the fact that so many of you all are participating in the video and leaving likes and comments and stuff that YouTube is deciding, oh, hey, if I recommend this, I'll probably get paid because it looks like the interaction on this video is good. Ergo, I'm going to go ahead and recommend this where I normally wouldn't. So you all do have some power in that regard to help me out because of the stupid way that YouTube functions. Rather than just notifying you that something you're interested in has been released, YouTube is more interested in notifying you if and only if they think they are going to make some decent money on it. And I guess from a business standpoint, that makes sense, and I wouldn't really hold it against YouTube, but it is dumb from a grassroots standpoint and also a standpoint of a site being named YouTube, indicating that they are interested in you, or me, say me being the you, and the creator. But yeah, that's just the way that it works. They're mostly interested in the bottom line, and again, I understand that. I'm not opposed to businesses making money. I work for a business, and because the business makes money, I get paid. But there are some times which a business would be better served in the long run in order to actually pay attention to what it is they should be versus what it is that most immediately helps them, because there are occasions where a business can do things in its own interest immediately and lose money, whereas there are some businesses who can maybe lose a little money over the short run, but end up doing very well over the long run. Whenever they make decisions that make their customer happy, and that's what I'm advocating for, is splitting the difference properly between those. Let's take a look here. We got a lot of velites and levies. I don't know exactly what the AI is up to here. They keep maneuvering. I attacked them. They have a hill position. I don't necessarily expect that they will come down the hill at me, but I don't know. Maybe they can be made to. I've got a pretty nice javelin range here. I'm kind of wondering if I push these. Romans do have access to auxiliary Syrian archers, which I do not see, and if they had such archers, those would be basically the equivalent of my Syrian heavy archers. Yeah, look, that got Rome to push forward. I was kind of hoping that might work. Once I moved my archers into range, Rome went ahead and pushed forward. This is definitely what we want. I have a whole bunch of javelins available to me on my sword and Thurios units, and I'm going to let those javelins be used here against the mercenary Numidian cavalry, which is definitely a significant threat. There's the ballista opening fire. Let's get into a phalanx formation. This mercenary Numidian cavalry is going to be badly punished for its sins. Sins of fighting for the Romans, that is. Turn there, so the Romans are inbound. My Ozet Knights are going to have to take down this auxiliary cavalry. Auxiliary cavalry is actually pretty decent spear and shield cavalry, but it won't do well against Ozet Knights. A countercharge here, the Sakyai Extraordinary. Okay, my archers are working the velites and doing quite well, I might add. Got a little bit of a Roman overload coming towards my left flank. Alright, here comes the auxiliary cavalry. I do want to get Hannibal into action, but I want to wait till the Roman infantry is fixed, ideally. Alright, my Ozet Knights and Hellenic Cataphracts are pursuing the enemies here. I'm going to go ahead and start closing down this flank with my Thorax Swords. Ozet Knight's doing a very nice cleanup job over here. Alright, so the Romans are hitting hard on my left flank at the moment. And there goes... There's only 3 Saki Extraordinari left, so they're really probably not a realistic threat to my archers at this point. Let's bring the Hellenic Cataphracts around. There's a juicy ball of veteran legionaries here that will eventually win the fight that they're in against my swordsmen. I'm going to actually shield wall these swordsmen here. Alright, so that auxiliary cavalry is dead. Try and pinch these guys a little here. Those veteran legionaries are way more than a match for my swordsmen. Alright, we're gonna bring Hanny in. Alright, here comes the Hellenic Cataphract charge. Oh, that spoiled the charge. I forgot when you use the trample, it like kind of slows their charge down. Dang. How frustrating. I'm gonna try and pull back and get that charge off before the timer runs down here. I don't know if it'll work though, because some of their units didn't get disengaged. Come on! No, we're gonna miss our trample charge. That's frustrating. Ooh, that's a veteran legionary right there next to my Ozet. Yeah, ceasefire there, easy. I'm gonna use some of Hannibal's abilities. We never did end up getting a charge over here, but we've got those veteran legionaries surrounded, so I'm gonna pull my cataphracts loose. I'm trying to cycle charge with Hannibal's unit. My swordsmen over here did get into their shield wall, which helps steady them for a little while. I'm gonna try and put some hurt onto these veteran legionaries. These ones over here are surrounded and should be dead. Here comes Hannibal for charge number 2. I'm gonna go ahead and second wind his unit. And Hannibal's unit is getting a considerable number of kills. And then the veteran legionaries here are confronted with infantry, cavalry, shock cavalry. They're getting hit hard. So the Roman dictator, I believe he was a dictator, it said his title the last time I saw him, is very likely to be killed in combat here. But, you know, we'll give him credit for fighting with his men rather than cowering and running away. Hannibal's unit got some sweet kills here. Almost 160 veteran legionaries. Take that straight to the bank. That's good. Good stuff. So yeah, you can see our thorax swords and thurial spears clearly overmatched by the Roman infantry. In fact, one of our sword units routed. But the Romans cannot face our cavalry head-on. Their auxiliary cavalry was killed easily in a confrontation head-to-head with my Ozet Knights. The Ozet Knights are far superior. Again, and an auxiliary cavalry is decent cavalry. It's not bad. Like, it's a decent heavy cavalry, but the Ozet Knights are just much better. But infantry-wise, you can see what I'm talking about, why it would be fun to run into some Praetorian Guard and Evocati cohort and other stuff from the Romans, because it would definitely create an interesting challenge for us. As you can see that, you know, look at this thorax sword. They got savaged. So did this one here. This thurial spear was in the process of getting savaged. Some of my pikes took damage from their velites, so I'd love to have the challenge. I'd love to see it. We're going to make a lot of money by ransoming off these Romans, so I'm going to participate in said ransom. And we could go ahead and push forward all the way to Thapsus and just take it. Probably should, as that will cut off the Romans' ability to create more troops. So, it's in a standard stance. Can we reach Thapsus with our fleet? I'll leave the fleet at Carthage, actually, to help protect it, and we'll go ahead and take Hannibal's army on the move here. Their Gaiatuli are still alive, because there's one of their warlords there. All that was left is a few units from this ballista. I'm going to go ahead and fight this manually just to make sure that I don't lose a unit in an auto-resolve, but I'm not going to show it to you all because it's a waste of time. Alright, we were easily successful there. I did take one unfortunate ballista shot that killed a few of my Ozet Knights, but, you know, nothing that's going to prevent me from pushing on forward. Just going to execute the captives there. And then we can push on to Thapsus, all on this particular turn-in. There are a couple of legionaries in the garrison defense. Again, I'm going to fight this one, but I'm not going to show it to you all because it is pretty much a waste of your time, as I'm going to have these guys massively overpowered. Alright, we were once again very successful, kept all of our units intact, so no significant worries here for Hannibal and his army when it comes to mopping up the Roman garrison at Thapsus. So Hannibal's old stomping grounds. Well, I say that, his stomping grounds are probably more technically over in Spain, but his old stomping grounds here basically being recognized. So we have the Perioikis camp going here. I said I was going to need a stables. I can't convert this one to a stables because I don't have the money. But I could if I cancel that muster field, which is not necessary there. But let's maybe go ahead and convert Thapsus into the royal stables. Then we can use a little bit of cash left here. Actually, I just don't have much cash left. I need to grab some cash by canceling a building somewhere else. Where can we do this? Abatea's got a whole bunch of buildings going here. This one's probably not super necessary, that update to the gem there. That'll grab me some easy cash here quickly. And I'll bring that back here to Africa and put it to use. So since we don't need the extra... So I was trying to spread my military buildings out, basically, right? Trying to spread them out across Africa so that we get a little bit better garrison in case we end up having to fight against enemy forces here. I'm going to go ahead and put in the subterranean aqueduct. And then we have these facilities that need to be converted over to something more proper from our culture. So we'll do that. So Africa now entirely in Hannibal's control. Militaries, or the family situation. Family situation's looking pretty darn good. And let's take a look at our army movement situation. We do have our spy. We found the Arverni to the north of the Romans and Massilia there. I thought Medlon was in Roman control. It looks like the Romans have a pretty good fight going on with some of the Germanic and other barbarian tribes. Now that we've exposed this spot on the map, though, the Romans no longer get the auto-resolve bonus when the fog of war is lifted. So I may want to remove my spy from the situation, lest I give the barbarians the benefit of getting to kill the Romans before I do, which I obviously do not appreciate nor approve of. Got this last one here. Hannibal now gets extremely cheap mercenaries. I say cheap, cheaper mercenaries. Melee attack and recruitment, morale for elephants, mercenary hiring cost. Spear-armed units. We have a lot of spear-armed units, so... Anyway, Hannibal's looking to be in pretty good shape. I wonder, we haven't given him a promotion anytime recently. I don't know if I have the cash for it at the moment. Yeah, I don't think we have... Secure promotion, send gift... Usurp, yeah, declare heir... And emissary, it's this one right here, secure promotion. Gonna cost quite a lot to promote him. But it continues to give a reduced upkeep cost for his army. And then if they're in a political party, promoting them gives them more more loyalty, but it also comes with the risk of you giving them more influence. So it's kind of like a balancing act you gotta do there. So Pericles' Pride has been refitted and rearmed. They are ready for combat outside of Charax. And this army is ready to defend our settlement at Yathrib. I'm going to move up and do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and open up the war here on this Arabian faction, Saba, and get rid of them and retake my holdings here. Actually, it says that we're still awaiting, because we made a peace treaty of some sort here. I may have a non-aggression pact with them. And I may have to wait, which is unfortunate, but... Oh no, I've got a trade agreement, and they actually don't hate me, so no, there's no reason for me to attack Saba right now. I'm gonna call this off.
Welcome. Come, Enjoy the pleasures of my home, and let us find accord.
Yeah, we're not going to pursue that at this moment. Really no need.
Ready for battle.
Come back here to Gore. I don't want to waste these armies, but they're available. I've got this army in position where it could rush to Egypt, you know, should the need arise. So I think we're okay. I don't really want to kick that off. That doesn't make a lot of sense. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Heralds of Triton can move, but we don't need them to move at the moment. I'm constructing this military wharf. Soon I'll be able to add some ships to this fleet, I believe. So let's go ahead and end a turn here. I'm going to take a look at a couple more comments we had from the last episode. We had one here from Sons of Lorgar who says, "Heir, a common soldier, hitting their king with a javelin in those times, and he was found out, would more likely result in a crucifixion or similar slow torture as capital punishment for high treason. The king survived. The king is dead. The soldier's family and entire clan would likely face the same fate." Yeah, I can't imagine it would have been pretty, right? I don't imagine at all that this would have gone over well. Now, our garrison is not completely here, but it's giving me a good chance of an auto-resolve. So I'm going to take it. I'm just going to auto-resolve against the Colchian fleet. We don't often get this kind of benefit from the AI. I will take every last bit of it. Now, the AI is not wanting to be so kind to us here. Look at this. There was like a very... This is what happened to us with... what was it? The Galatians. The AI knows they're doomed, and so they go out and somehow, despite having lost all of their settlements and armies, they still have money in the bank to be able to hire mercenaries. It's amazing how that always works out, right? It's very convenient. Very convenient. It would take me a couple of turns to walk back, and then these guys are likely to attack other settlements. I don't want to waste the time doing it, but I kind of have to go ahead and fight this. We don't really have a choice. We may not win it, but we at least need to damage them very badly. Al the Molfar says, "Thanks for the video. Romans in Carthage." This is what they're saying. "Some Seleucids landed. Close the gate." And then this is Hannibal. He makes a crack in the gates by ramming his elephant into it, pushes his face inside, and says, "Here is Hanny." And then the Romans scream. So I like this. I like this moment. Being reckoned to the shining. It's a good way to do this. Mercenary Eastern Javelin Men. I think we could probably set up safely. Right here. It's like maybe put my pikes here and then put my Thurio spears on each flank of the pikes to help keep it secure, but also be able to return the javelin fire. Slingers here. Be able to shoot at the javelins. Then we'll put an Eastern Spear in reserve. My citizen cavalry, if it can be hidden appropriately, could come around the back of all of their mercenary javelin units and potentially come in clutch. Most of their infantry is hillmen. My biggest concern here is just the sheer number of javelins that's going to be unloaded on me by the AI is probably enough for them to win the battle in and of itself. So it's a bit of a problem. Accidentally left my mob out here. Hopefully we can actually maybe get those horse skirmishers to toss a couple of their javelins and waste them on my mob. Yep, there they go. That's actually good. That's probably a good thing. We have limited missiles available to us, and so I'll take all the freebies I can get.
Slingers! On watch!
Our general is under attack.
I'm gonna bring these mob out here. Yeah, our general's gonna take most of the javelin volleys. Between my Thurio spears and slingers, though, we should be able to deal with a fair number of horse skirmishers. I have to keep my citizen cavalry still for the time being. It'd be pretty critical that we do that. I'm gonna use my mob to kind of just keep kiting and try and keep the javelins off my general. My citizen cavalry remains hidden. Okay, we got rid of one horse skirmisher. I really want to charge these Eastern Javelin men, but I need to be patient. Dadgummit, these horse skirmishers are somehow getting a throw from a position where my own skirmishers don't want to fire back.
By your command, your orders. Yours to command. We await your
And they're getting a lot of throws at my general. I'm gonna try and take a javelin volley off these hillmen with my mob. And I'm just trying to buy some time with that mob. Get back here, slingers. What in the world are you thinking? Alright, here comes the citizen cav.
The men are wavering.
This is not a great situation. There are so many enemy horse skirmishers, and then here comes the Eastern Javelinman. My pike general has already taken considerable damage. I am returning fire as best I can, but like I said, the sheer number of enemy javelins may be enough to finish us off. I'm going to bring up another sacrificial unit to try and busy the enemy javelin units. I'm going to try and just break the charge of these hillmen. Again, whatever javelins they expel on my eastern spearmen would be better than them using it on me. I need to get the horse skirmishers dealt with. Okay, I'm going to swing my cavalry around. Oh gosh, we got a skirmisher behind us. What bad news. This is bad news.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
I did not expect the AI to actually take the time to outflank, so this is rather unfortunate for me. Yeah, we're just gonna get buried in javelins, unfortunately, here. If I ignore their javelins, I'm gonna get destroyed by them. Perhaps I can get a quick charge here against the hillmen and then run out of range of those eastern javelin men. Not really. We still got peppered. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. There's only so much I can do here.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display. Swift riders at your command.
See again here, the sheer number of javelins becomes an issue. I have to put a quick charge on those javelin men. I'm gonna have to pull through.
An entire unit has perished.
Because if I sit still, one unit's gonna be able to continue to fire. Yeah, we're just gonna get... Unfortunately, if this garrison had been healthy, like fully replenished, I'm pretty sure we could have won this one. But in the current situation, we're gonna lose. Like I said, just the sheer number of javelins here from the enemy was more than we could handle. But, I mean, at least we killed some of them. Managed to put down almost 600 of the Colchians. But in Rome too, javelins are a very powerful asset. They are extremely strong against basically anything. Cavalry, infantry, skirmishers. They're just good. It was something, somewhat of a balancing oversight, I believe, on Creative Assembly's part. They needed some adjustments. Like, there's too many cheap units in this game that have javelins that are far too effective against elite units. And it kind of makes a balancing issue again, and that's just my opinion. Alright, looks like on the turn end here that HeirofCarthage is going to attack us in a suicide attempt that shouldn't go too far. I'm going to just auto-resolve this. There's really no reason to be overly concerned about it. Not going to let them put us to any kind of siege or try and draw this out. Just make them dead, get a little bit of cash from ransoming them. Hopefully that's the end of their faction. And that means that we don't have to deal with them at all anymore. That would be ideal. Let's see what else happens on this turn end. Not much else. Ah! One of the people I sent on a diplomatic mission died. Oh, that's funny. It's funny because it wasn't one of my people. I mean, there's no... Additional soldiers maybe in the future, but your own troops are more cost-effective. Okay, whatever. Is that another one? Failed diplomacy? No, okay, just the one failed diplomacy, I think. Finish marine training. Child is born. Diplomat executed. I think that was the same guy that we saw there. Yeah, so the Parthian family is lost. Can y'all tell I'm really upset about what happened to the Parthian? I mean, this is an outrage. It's an absolute outrage. How could they treat my diplomats that way? I mean, I certainly never would have said anything to the tune that maybe that would happen when I sent him, and that possibly I would be okay with that outcome. I mean, sure, maybe there's video evidence, but no one can prove anything. Hey, the Romans had some leftover hastati here, apparently. Maybe by killing these stacks, we'll run into better Roman stacks when we hit the main Roman forces there. I do have thorax swords. My thorax swords, I mean, if we weren't on the very hard setting, they would hold out pretty okay against hastati. Hastati are a little bit light. Legionaries, not so much. And Triari, it's hard to say. I'm going to go ahead and begin to build some siege engines, and I'm going to continue the siege here and try and hold this Roman 4th Legion. That should at least prevent the Romans from having anything operating behind my lines. So Thapsus in our control. We do need to put in another building here before we run into additional patchy factories. If I'm taking a look, I mean, I have a ton of food right now, but I intend to use this to run some upgrades to some of my settlements, especially as money becomes available. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the typical thing and put in... I like having some agriculture in all of my minor settlements. I don't think we've got the opportunity for patchy factories anywhere else. I'm going to double check that. I've got a fair bit of money, but we've got a lot of places that we need to build things, so I'm making a lot of money, but it would require far more money than that in order for us to actually like go building something out in all of these places. Just double checking to make sure I'm not about to cause any crises or anything here. Probably will go ahead and do those upgrades like this. Cydamus. Pannonia. Samandar. How's Samandar? I guess that is a very long province that stretches across there. Let's go ahead and get this place properly outfitted. We'll need to remember that we could potentially end up with a patchy factory there. Yeah, we should probably do both. I'm going to force march this army over here to trap the Colchians. I trespassed Chimeria, but oh well. They'll get over it. Or they won't get over it, and I'll have another war, one way or the other. There we go. So we got this army that needs to drop off at Antioch. Antioch's still 6 turns before we get the Royal Barracks, but we're only 4 turns from having the top-tier mercenary camp here. And we already have a Royal Stables. So we should be able to get some really nice troops into this army. They have long served us and long been faithful, but I am going to go ahead and dismiss these mercenary Persian cavalry. And I'm going to go ahead and dismiss these Thurios spears and Peltist. All of this should free up a considerable sum of change. I'm going to hold on to the mercenary hoplites just in case I end up needing to fight over the next couple of turns. And I'm going to go ahead and begin. We have thorax pikes here, but we're going to be able to really deck this army out. Like, this army is going to get some proper scary units, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I do want to get a couple of Ozit Knights and a Hellenic Cataphract from a cavalry standpoint, so I'll go ahead and take care of that on this turn in. And then as these better buildings become available, we'll give our king the army that a king deserves, and it should be a good time. Let's check any other... I have armies that aren't really moving now at the moment because I don't really want to fight a war against the Arabians. I may leave Pericles' Pride, though, as kind of a guard in this vicinity and just take this army and push west towards Alexandria. And then as we push towards Alexandria, we can try and make a crossing. Because again, I'm going to need more armies west, but I don't want to totally empty out my presence in the Far East here, because we could easily be struck and we'll need some some armies in the vicinity to help with that. So I'm going to push them forward. Hannibal's revenge is busy replenishing. I think I'm going to move them back to Carthago and prepare for an invasion of Sicily. Hannibal came from the north historically, and it was a fun story there in history, and I think this time we'll come in from the south just to flip things on its head. We've already flipped things on its head as far as Hannibal having to recapture Carthage from Roman control, so that's pretty fun. And as far as what I'm planning to do with Antiochus' army is I want to have shield bearers and silver shield swordsmen. I want to take a I may get a few pike units. Like, I may keep a few pike units like we have, but I want to have some silver shield swords and shield bearers. And if we are going to get pikes, I'll probably get silver shield pikes as well. I want to bring in, like, a real royal army behind his troops here. I think this will be a lot of fun. And honestly, when you look at the stats on these mercenary veteran hoplites, which is ridiculous, these guys would be even more amazing as shield bearers. Maybe even more so than this. It'd be interesting to see. We're going to check it out. We'll get a handle on it. Anyway, I think we can end the turn, but let's go ahead and see. Yeah, our agent is slowly making her way over here. Help us get a little bit of eyes on the situation in northern Macedonia. Our spy is moving back down through here. I think I'm going to just try and come back down and continue to gather intelligence within Italy. The Romans lost Medlon. It's the last time I was through here, so my having come and spied them, like I said, may actually work against me. You see how the AI spams out these stacks of swordsmen? The auto-resolve won't favor Rome if the fog of war is on, and so that's going to be a bit of a problem. So we may have just helped with Rome's undoing, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and end this turn. Take a look at some more comments that you all had. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting back to it. I got to swap over to it on my phone. I don't have the extra screen available on my PC while I'm doing this. Simon says, I'm concerned with the AI. I'm concerned the AI will ruin some good battles by wasting full stacks, sending them into the sea, and being easily sunk, like Hannibal at the Gates campaign. It says, great show, enjoy all the content. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and you may very well be right as far as the way that we're going to see the AI behave. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of great ways for me to fix that. There are some mods out there that improve certain aspects of the AI, and those are obviously definitely appreciated, and I gave them the mod to try and keep them alive, but yeah, unfortunately I can't prevent them from making those type of stupid decisions. I wish there was a way I could, but we probably can't. Pyrrhic Strategos, thanks for being a Gold Shield channel supporter. He says, hoping that when you finally land in Italy, you come across both Praetorian Guard and Eagle cohorts. I replied to him and said that I would also like that. Syracuse is begging for a peace treaty. They will not receive it. I very much hope that we run into that type. Oh man, I see a Roman legion and a Syracusan army in Sicily. This should get nice and spicy. But yeah, I hope to see those units too. And you might be saying, Air, why? Well, because I want some awesome fights. I want some epic fights, in fact. I would love to come up against some really elite, very large Roman. I thought we made a slums there for a minute, but we didn't. Child has died. Enemy was wounded. Trying to bribe Antiochus. Yeah, trying to bribe a king. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kings are not immune to corruption, but that's a bold move, Cotton. Like trying to bribe the king there. That is a bold move indeed. Let's see. I'm just being a standard stance. We should be able to attack Trapezos and put an end to the Colchians altogether. They are trapped. We have superior force. Let's go ahead and fight this. Take care of business. Hopefully put the Colchians down once and for all. Okay, so we got good weather. Appreciated. We've seen this settlement type many, many times before. Just take all these units. I'm going to do something like this. Posit Knights to support over here. I'll do Thorax Pikes up the gut here, supported by archers and elephants.
Ready for battle. Position.
Hey, let us get the battle going. here we are moving forward. Let's move our pike line forward.
Enemy reinforcements approaching.
And you will have only death and defeat. Now, quick march! Armored elephants!
Excellent. Alright, so we're going to start to surround the enemy. They do have some mercenary horse skirmishers. We've got our archers there to help support, though. Hillmen, Eastern Spears. I think most of their infantry was trash, and that makes sense. I haven't left them with a lot of recruiting buildings. So they're not exactly going to be in good shape after all of this.
Orders, my lord!
Okay. My archers are in range. I'm going to begin bombardment of their forces here, and I'll just let my archers fire at will. And see if the Colchians decide to make any moves, or if they're just going to let their troops be run down and destroyed. They do have a couple of javelin men that are going to come off their boats over here. I'm going to get ready to deal with them. Okay. Thurio spears moving in. Let's bring the cavalry to support. I'm going to just push all my thorax swords into this choke point. These Eastern spears are getting annihilated. Looks like we already killed one unit of them, and we're going to take on a second. Those javelins have already landed. I'm going to kind of just hold back with my elephants. Don't need to get too hasty here. That's kind of a mistake to get that close. Those hillmen are going to javelin my cavalry. Dadgummit. Just lost like 26 cavalrymen there to a freaking hillman. We get that Eastern Slinger. See what I mean? Even cheap units can kind of be OP because of javelins. Hillmen should not have access to precursor javelins, and if they do, they should definitely not get the bonus versus large, which they do. They should be much weaker because it just is kind of annoying for such a unit like Hillman to be able to negate heavy cavalry so quickly and so easily. It just kind of breaks immersion, in my opinion. Try and get some of my swordsmen around here. I'm just going to keep mowing these guys down. Those Eastern Slingers are lasting an awful long time against very heavy cavalry. Or, sorry, it's Median cavalry. It's medium, but still. It's an awful long time to stay in that fight. Push on through here. We only killed 4 slingers in the intervening time when I last visited that. That's in getting to the point of being absolutely suspect. I saw a unit trying to get in behind us. It's an Eastern Spear unit. Let's just ignore it. What is this? Eastern Javelin men. Eastern Slingers. We got a few problems over there. I'm gonna bring these Thurio Spears this way to challenge some of these units. There we go. Let's bring this Median cavalry back here. Try and cut through the javelins. I'm cutting through the javelins much quicker than the slingers. There are fewer javelins than there are slingers. Ooh, what is this? A Colchian noble. A wild Colchian noble appears. Approaching from the rear. Must have been reinforcements that came on. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised that I noticed them. You all know how I am. Our Median cavalry's gotten a bit savaged, but should be okay. These guys won't be able to brace against both of my elephant units.
Our general is under attack.
I hate how the stampede like stops the charge over your units. Alright, that Colchian noble's gonna get absolutely slaughtered. Let's keep pushing this way. Our swords should be breaking through there eventually. We've used all of our ammo. How this Colchian noble is still alive is honestly a bit of a mystery to me, but it's okay. They're not going to live much longer. Alright, our archers have expended pretty much all their ammunition. They do have a mercenary horse skirmisher that still has ammunition. That's annoying. Let's go help against these hillmen. One of my Thurio spears is a bit low. Let's get a rear charge started here. Yeah, my Thurio spears are taking a pretty savage beating here. They're just low in numbers after multiple engagements. Alright, the enemy general should be dead. If he's not dead, he's certainly fleeing. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to run him down. There he goes. Good news. Yeah, I lost one of my Thurio spears units. Let's come out of a pike phalanx and start to charge. Taking our thorax swords a long time to roll up this fight over here on my right-hand side. A little bit too long for my liking. Cycle charge. Get that hillman. Just gonna bring my thorax pikes into melee with those axemen. Oh, that's an axeman unit. It's not a hillman. Okay, makes sense why it's holding up a lot stronger. Gonna do a phalanx formation. I'm gonna pull my Thurio spears out of that fight. They'll probably rout. As long as they don't get utterly destroyed, I'm actually okay with it. I'm gonna let my thorax pikes just kind of continue to busy this horse skirmisher until it runs out of ammunition. I don't have a second wind, unfortunately. Horse skirmishers are getting way too close to me for their own good. My units are exhausted from having done the trample, but there we go. I think the only thing that's left is a single noble unit that's hiding out on the town center. Move some units up to go face it. Some of these units may come back from routing. Might should have pursued them. Yep, they just did. It is an Eastern Slinger unit, just rebroke. As did the Horse Skirmisher, so they're not likely to be able to... too much of a threat to me. Alright, let's fast forward and get to the end of this engagement. Stupid mercenary horse skirmisher back from war. Probably still has a couple of javelin volleys. If it does, it's not going to get to use them because my Medians just caught them in melee. They are making like a wild break for my elephants or something here. I don't know what it was. They got caught and they're now wavering. My thorax swords are going to be extremely tired, as most of my units are at this point from killing so many Colchians. Alright, just gonna come get set up. They're sitting here in a shield wall formation. Or a phalanx, sorry, not a shield wall. Hoplite wall. Which honestly means it'd be a little bit better if I just go ahead and wait for my pikemen to do it right rather than my thorax swords. Let's just fast forward. It won't really matter if my thorax pikes are still tired. They'll still do just fine in a melee against these Colchian nobles. There we go. Should easily pike them to the ground. Getting a lot of weird movement. No big surprise. That type of thing is pretty common. These pikes in this game are always a little bit broken. There we go. That is going to be a victory. And a sound one. That, hopefully we didn't lose our Thurio Spears there, but Thurio Spears, fairly replaceable. They don't even have all that many chevrons, so it shouldn't be the end of the world. Alright, so Colchis, however we want to say it. You're going to occupy our settlement again. That should be the end of their faction. There they go. They're gone. So the cold cheese has been removed from our lives. We no longer have to worry about it, deal with it, or anything else of the sort. A little bit of money here to make this settlement defensible. Alright, and then this army, Antiochus II, no longer needed there, so I'm going to just kind of move him around this way. We've got good Hellenic influence everywhere. Kind of thinking about putting consecrated ground there. Alright, still quite a few turns here before we have the buildings in place that we want. And this is the interesting scenario I'm looking at now. We've got Agamemnon's Pride here, and Roman's First Legion, Legio 1 Italica. It'd be curious to see whether or not they have made any improvements to the troops that were in that legion, or whether they're still running around with Postati and Triari. I'm going to get away from these Roman settlements so that hopefully they continue to get the auto-resolve, so I'm going to kind of beeline my spy down here. We've got Aravisci sitting right here on our borders, so all the more reason why I want to be moving some armies west. In fact, I think I may put this army to sea and sail over to Hellas. I think that might be the best way to deal with that. But yeah, otherwise, we've got some cash here. Let's go ahead and spend our cash, and then we'll probably be good for this particular turn. Let's sort by means of wealthiest provinces, and I'm going to kind of work my way through. I want to begin this upgrade process here. Heavy Tower Heptares with Syrian heavy archers. Now that does sound like a lot of fun. All the stuff uses up a lot of food, but as you all can see, I have a great deal of food. It's winter time as well, so not too much worried about it. Get this enameler in place. Those are very expensive buildings, so that's going to take basically everything I have, but it's worth it. Try and turn our homeland into a fortress. Do hope you all enjoyed this episode. We cleared out the Romans in North Africa, or at least we're about to. This army should come out and attack us. They're taking massive attrition. And then this is actually something I'm looking forward to in the next episode. I'm gonna go ahead and make a sale for Sicily with Hannibal. I think he's pretty well set here. It's dangerous then. Some pieces dangerous about it. Where is their movement? I'm gonna put Hannibal on the boats here, and then on the next turn, I'd like to dump Hannibal right here on Sicily, make a landing with him, and try and force our way in. So this should be fun. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you get in those comments, talk about what you'd like to see in future historical campaigns. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all soon.